What's up? This is Max our Starheart. You know the rest if you know me. Anyways, I never consider myself like a writer or an artist or really anything. Just a dude. Then I look back at all my writings and it's like just just one notebook here, but I have like notebooks. Some I've lost along the way. I have some that have been refound. And I look back and it's just so many years of writing. No, I've done nothing with it. But I do it. A lot of started projects that I never finished. That's kind of my thing. But this one was actually left in Wisconsin. This is Barnum Works. It says John Cade, rest in pieces, left in peace. And this is based off one of my favorite book series. The author actually died in 2005. That was heart-wrenching. That's my favorite author. I grew up reading his books multiple times. And it's about a man, John Chenau. His original name is John Cade, though. He took on the name Chenau. Anyways, I started doing a little bit of some years ago. I wanted to write my own prologue episode or book of story of kind of how he came to be the Jerusalem Man, which is what he's called. And I was doing I was writing out like the characters and the theme and the plot. I've never written, I don't know. I'm not a good story writer, I don't think, but I was having like the backstory and I had like the little parts and, like motives of the people and things like that. So I was just going to take a moment and just read it's going to be a little rough. My handwriting's rough in here, but I just had like the first kind of intro to the story. Okay, so I'm just going to read it because I can. Chenau, is that you? Chenau looked up from the card table. In the flesh, young man. What's the gun? The gunshot roared across the raucous barroom. Chenau's face vaporizing into a crimson spray. His blood festooned blood and bits of gray matter spray out in a perfect circle around the blood spray out in a perfect circle around the card table, painting the now still gamblers in it's a little rough here, in blood. Silence across the room as the ringing echo of the short-barreled shotgun hidden in the young man's jacket blazed across the room. And it's the killer's brother. I don't have the name. There wasn't anything that I told my brother there wasn't anything that special about you. The killer whispered to himself in an almost inaudible tone. And then the chaos erupted in the saloon. The men around the card table lurched up almost simultaneously and piled onto the boy. The shotgun clattered onto the heavy oak floor. Shouts and gasps of shock and amazement filled the room. John's eyes open. Now you got to remember that John is known as John Chenau in the books, but this is a point when he was John Cade. So it's you should see what's going on here because it's first part. It's like here's Chenau, he just got killed, and then his eyes open. John's eyes open. The reverberation of the single blast bounced across the hall. Something was wrong. Rare was it that there was a scuffle in this saloon, bad enough for guns to be drawn, let alone used. At the musty musket. That's what we called it. And anybody stupid enough to draw with Chenau in the room would feel the cold steel of his gun between their ribs before they could even get their finger on the trigger. Chenau always said there are two kinds of men in this world: those that will boast and threaten, as they roar. This part's a little rough, so I'll just skip it. And the other, the kind you never properly meet because you're halfway to heaven or hell before you even hear the shot rings. Killers and cowards equally dangerous for two distinct, separate reasons. And that wasn't Mr. Chenau's gun. He could pick the crackle of... Oh, fuck. my handwriting's so bad in here. I was just like writing, like it was like it's already the second page, and it just so by that time I was a little rough. That was Mr. Chanel's ground. He could pick that crackle of lightning out of Noah's flood itself. I don't know why I wrote that like that. Sometimes I write weird stuff. I try to make metaphors. Um, I don't know. Well, it's kind of dumb, but that's why it was just a little first start. But anyways, sometimes I just, anyways, there's a little more here, but it ain't that great. But it was just, I just found this today and I wanted to share it. Yeah, I just kind of had like the little timeline of sort of the backstory of why the character had killed that man. The man who dies is actually Chanel's, his mentor. And so he takes the mantle, he takes the name he takes his last name and all that. But I've kind of got a timeline of sort of how it goes, and sort of it's sort of a story of him trying to do good. And he has a chance where he actually comes, he confronts the kid that killed his mentor. And he has a chance to choose life or death. He uses his free will to actually, to let him go. And then I believe I have it written out. That ends up to be a very fatal mistake, because then that man still ends up killing people he cares about or causing some kind of, I'd have to read through the notes. It's been a few years. But then so that kind of turns Chanel into the man he was. He was, his mentor's killed. He finally faces the killer himself. He has a chance to kill him. He is a godly man. He chooses, forgiveness. And then that forgiveness is just rubbed in his face. And so then he pretty much turns into the stone cold killer, with little remorse that he is in the books. Meg out.